Boom boom beat. Rolling down the street. All right, guys, we are here, friends. I want to bring you along on this adventure. Look at this B to the A labradorite. Now, labradorite often has a matrix in it that is kind of abstract, but these, I love these lines, guys. Look at those lines. See those? And it's a lot like my ring. That's why I like this ring so much. The straight lines. It does have a line that goes right through it. That's kind of like in the matrix, but see those straight lines? I just love those straight. I love them all, guys. I love labradorite. So we're gonna do this, guys. I have this rolled out spoon. This was basically this, and we rolled it out. Me and all my personalities rolled it out, and we're gonna do our own bezel wire with fine silver, and I'm gonna show you guys how I do that. Very simple, but it's cool because you can have the thickness of the fine silver that you like, or the thinness or thickness that you like. And let's not dilly-dally around. We're gonna go right here. I'm just gonna get just enough, and hopefully I don't chop my finger off. So go like this, and I just use my body weight, and then I just kind of slowly. All right, guys, and once I get it to about this level, you can see. If you see how thin that is now? Now I can kind of, this might be kind of hillbilly of me. Guys, I just use my body weight. Then once I get to this point, I'll just hit her with my big hammer. Like this. And I'm actually going to do this on the floor. Until I hit it, until it kind of breaks off. Just like this. And this is what I'm left with. And I like this size because this kind of makes into square wire into my rolling mill. I can work with this guy outside on the concrete, and I'll just beat the beans out of it. I don't do it in here because my table's made out of wood. Smash it into a square, more square, so it could feed into my rolling mill. All right, guys, this is where I'm at. You see, you got kind of a squarish look to it. Lately, I've been annealing, because I'm trying to save acetylene. Lately, I've been annealing on my gas burning stove. Just put it on the burner, and let it get really, really hot until it starts to glow red. And a lot of people out there don't recommend that because they have too much class. So this is very annealed. I'm going to put this in my rolling mill. Maybe I'll take you over there just so you can see the process. All right, kids, this is kind of the cool kid angle that you see on the internet. Square, that's right here. We're going to use this big one right here first. And we're just going to go through it. I'm going to open this up all the way. This is my Pepe rolling mill. But I started with the Vivor. So that's too big. It'll just go right through. So we can squeeze it down a little bit. I started with the cheap Vivor rolling mill and made a bunch of really awesome jewelry, enough to save some money so I could buy this one. So sometimes you have to take baby steps to get to the tools that you really want. And some of us don't have to do that because we're rich. But sometimes you got to use your skills to pay the bills, you know what I'm saying? Try to keep your orientation straight. Now, some people have said to always feed it the same direction. But in my experience, I have found that it's not really required to like keep the always feed it the same direction. I switch it up, and without problem, without issue. And these rolling mills, these Pepe rolling mills with the wooden handles, they're known for squeaking. I had somebody on my channel, they said, "Hey, mine's a squeaker too." And I say, "Yeah, Pepe rolling mills do squeak. The handles are wood." And you can probably put, I did put some lubrication on the handle, but it didn't really work very well. Okay, so let's just look at that. You can see where the groove, it's really starting to get square. That line that you see right in the middle there is kind of typical. We're working this. And now look at that, guys. We're getting that square. That middle line that you saw in there, that will eventually disappear. I don't know what happens to it. It gets pressed into the silver. Now this is a good millimeters. Let's see how many millimeters this is. We're about 5. And if you guys recall, my stone is pretty tall, guys. It's let's look at the profile of that. I know this is not ideal right here, but I want to keep the camera. So we're gonna need, from this point, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and go flat. So I'm gonna open this up all the way until it goes through, and then I'm gonna close it just about a half a turn. And then we're gonna now we're gonna start working flat. We're gonna flatten this out. This is gonna get really long. Maybe it looks like 7 now. Maybe before it was 5. It's a little wider, but we're gonna keep working. A little ready to anneal, I believe. Okay, this is the thickness and this is the width. I'm gonna nail this, and I think that's the bezel. That's the bezel wire. I'm happy with that. That's probably 16 gauge. All right, guys, I just took this off the stove. It is freshly annealed, so very, very soft. Off that little chunk, it didn't really get much wider when I rolled it flat. It just kind of stayed. So if you want it wide, you gotta start rolling it flat when it's the biggest thickness of square. Definitely gonna be tall enough. Do I want a castellated bezel on this? I can castellate this. Let's castellate, but before we do that, let's just cut one end off and start with the flat end. And then if you know my technique, guys, I do the no math way of determining how much silver we're gonna need. And I basically start at the tip, and then I roll it. And I roll it on the rubber block so it doesn't slide around. Get back to the tip. And then I add the 3 times the thickness of the metal. So if the metal is 1 millimeter, I'll add 2, 3 millimeters. And maybe 4, just more material than not enough. Cut that. Hammer, because the shears do warp the edges a little bit. So we're going to take this and we're going to use my castellating tool that I got from Jim Brandvik on the internet several years ago. It was one of the first online tools that I purchased, called Top Jaws. I'm going to put this in my vise. Jim Brandvik, if he's still selling these, guys, I haven't shown this in a while, so freeze shot that. Jim Brandvik, Brandvik. You can find him on YouTube and order it. Here are recommendations. Minimum should be no less than 18 gauge or 1.02 millimeters. After all, the whole reason is to make these tools so you can create thicker bezels. I don't know how to read. Minimum size saw blade should be a number 3, not to be confused with 3/0. Those blades are much too thin. So a number 3 saw blade, minimum 18 gauge. You can go thicker. I've done 20 gauge, guys, and it worked just fine. It's up to you. As you're the artist. You're the artist. But these are his recommendations, and they're good recommendations. All right, friends, here we are. All right, dudes, I'm going to keep this video as short as possible because this is kind of a long process. So if you want to watch the castellation process, watch this video here. It's a great video. It goes through every single point that I'm going to do over the next few minutes here. So let's get to the point right after this point. And we're looking at it right here. You can probably see where that slope is. Let's see if the light can catch it right there. See that slope? That's going to look nice curving over the top of our stone. All right, Goonie Goo Goos, here we go. Can you see that slope? Got a nice slope there. Now when you wrap these teardrop, you want your join or your seam to be on a flat portion, not at the tip. We're going to go ahead and just wrap this. We're going to see if we have enough. Now, what would you do on the tip right here, guys? I've done this several different ways. What I like to do on this part right here, just put a line right at the nose to indicate. And then I'll use my flat pliers like this, a little bit on the long side of that dip. And before I get too excited, so excited I just can't hide it, I'll mock it up again, make sure that we're still looking good, and we are. So we'll go ahead and commit to it. We're going to put our commitment issues to the side on this right here, friends. Perpendicular. Like that, guys. Now we have a nice point. Well, you wouldn't be able to achieve that with your fingers. I mean, you might. Now, if you can see my mathematics, friends, 3 times the width. I didn't measure, but I'm pretty dang close, guys. I'm pretty dang close. If I can help it on the very ends, I won't put, like, I could have probably fit one more line, but I like to leave them open so that for my fine tuning, and I can put a line in at the end, if that makes sense. I'm almost right, but it's a little long. Right there. I'm going to take that much off. Exact about it. Just kind of eyeball. You can be an artist, guys. We're artists, not mathematicians. Okay, I think I have what I need. Flat needle file. And we're just going to go ahead and give it one of these numbers. Because we want these two to meet up and be homies. Show you this process. We're going to go over and under until they want to meet up. And what I like to do is get my flat nose pliers right here and just squeeze so we have a nice flatness. Look at that. Does that meet your specifications, friends? And see that line? Once I get that solder line, I might go through with my saw and just give it the superficial action on that. But let's put this together and keep it groovy like a drive-in movie. All right, guys, we have the experimental camera angle that always fails, but we don't learn. We do not learn, friends. But I want to give you guys the best experience possible, and I hope you guys appreciate it. We're going to go a little bit of flux right on that seam. I have the seam on the bottom on this bezel because we have the castellations and those lines on the outside. Normally I like to put the solder on the outside so I could for easy cleanup, but on these castellateds I like to put them on the inside because so that the solder doesn't get caught up in those lines, because it will flood those lines. And you can always could always go through with a saw later after, if you have a solder mess on the outside of these castellations, and put the lines back in. Now we're on the seam. It's just feather. I didn't know this until probably last year, that fine silver melts slower than sterling silver. One time I had I had this piece of fine silver in my crucible when I was melting down silver scraps, and this did not melt. I had to pull it out because it wasn't hot enough, and this is fine silver. So fine silver has a higher melting point than sterling silver, and if I recall, copper has a higher melting point than sterling silver. So you add a high melting point copper with high melting point sterling or fine silver to make sterling silver, and it has a lower melting point. Let's clean this up and then we'll look and see what we have. All right, introverted health nuts, we have right here the piece. So let's take a look. This is where the seam is. Let's look underneath. So you guys can see I'm not bull junking you. Now we're going to do a little bit of cleanup. So just give it one of these numbers. Always pull towards the handle. That's the way the file works. Oh, yeah. Yeah, buddy. Oh, like a brand new pair of Reebok pumps. My plan right here is I want to have some space around it so I could put some adornments around this. I want for this to be kind of a bigger statement piece. We put the bail hook. I don't know what they call it, the part you put the bail on. Now it probably won't be that high. All right, friends, I just thought of something. Before we start getting too excited, let's make this a hollow back pendant, because the power of the labradorite really is beneficial if it has an open back for hippie reasons. So what we're gonna do is cut the back out. So I'm gonna kind of mock this up about where I want it. So I'm gonna cut this part out, the black part that I'm coloring right now. Just do a very simple, probably about right there. We'll give it a little hammer, just for my drill blade to have a place to go. I have this block that I often use as indicated by all the holes. And let's give it one of these numbers, guys. Don't press too hard, guys. Let the drill do its job. Because if you press too hard and this breaks and goes into your finger, it's going to ruin your day. So I'm going to put my saw blade into that and then cut that out. And that's how we do that. Okay, guys, I nailed it. And then I just hit it right here with this on this right here, like this. And we got that warp out. There's no warp. Nice and flat. So I think this is going to make our dreams come true. Oh yeah, that's a lot better, guys. A lot better. Let's go out there like a bunch of crazed dogs and have some fun. Who said that? Does anybody know who said that? Any of you football fans out there? The great Lawrence Taylor. Let's go out there like a bunch of crazed dogs and have some fun. I'm an NFL fan. I've been a little disenfranchised with the NFL lately. Probably just because I'm sick and tired of watching the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. And I'm one of those people that think the NFL's rigged, and, you know, I'm a conspiracy theorist. But the Chiefs did not win the Super Bowl last year, so it kind of brought me back to a little bit of belief. You know, they probably are just mind controlling me. I'm going to get this just back touch. It is hot still, but I'm not the brightest. I'm not exactly the sharpest bulb in the shed. I think that looks better. I'm not going by the oval on the middle because I'm gonna fix that. But as long as I have about 3 or 4 millimeters around the whole edge, my stone will sit right on there very nicely. Okay, after only being slightly annoyed by not having the right size of solder in my bowl, we're ready to take this to... Give it a little press. Rotating table, very handy. Okay, that piece of solder did not go. You want your solders to be touching the wall, guys. If your solder is not touching the wall, it won't go where you want it. So you want your solder to be wallflowers, not in the middle of the dance floor doing the freaking sprinkler. Let's go. Okay, we got that. Okay, we got that. Feeling good, feeling good. Not against the wall, but we moved it. Got that, that's feeling good. Okay, I'm gonna need a piece right here. Against the wall, pressed. You gotta be able to work on the fly, guys. It helps. You know, turn your heat off and then start from scratch. Okay, that looks good. I got a little gap right there, guys, and I want to make sure that this is on the wire so that whenever I press, it doesn't flip over. It is not wanting to cooperate. Yes, it did right there, guys. I got it. Okay, I'm looking. feel like we got good right here. It's possible that we didn't get it right there. Okay, good looking. I think we did good right here. I can see the meniscus on the inside. Okay, blink, lick your lips. Take a drink of water. Oh, you don't have any water. Oh. Okay, well, let's just drink our cheek juice. Let's rub our teeth on the inside of our cheeks till we get a little cheek juice. And then we'll just drink cheek juice because we're in the trenches. Looks good. Looks good. Some room in here to work. We're kind of close right there, but that's about as close as we want to get, and then we'll kind of trim this up. All right, guys. Very nice seal all the way around. Here we're gonna do the boom of it, and I'm looking at the thick spot. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, and you guys probably already know this technique. Let me just get this right here just to hold this end up so I can see what I'm saying. Oh, and that's the hammer I need. Oh, Johnny. Well, I guess we're going to have to use the carpenter hammer for this boom. The old carpenter hammer that we got at the Salvation. 925 so they know it's not phony baloney. Boom. So how are we going to do this, friends? How? Let's use another piece of spoon. Watch your fingers. I don't know what I'm going to do, but we're going to start by cutting this in half. Doesn't have to be perfect. These are going to be feathers, guys. They're going to go next to it. Oh, guys, I'm gonna cut slight in more material, leave more material than not enough, and I'm gonna do a feather that goes here, a feather, and a feather that go. We're gonna go 4 feathers, the sacred 4. We're gonna go 1 feather here, and then on top of that or under that, 2 feathers down here and 2 feathers up here, and there are gonna be 4 feathers. I've never done anything like that before. Probably something like this, guys. We're going to use this angle here. Mock these up next to each other so they're exactly the same. Because I think symmetry, there's a place for symmetry, and this might be that place. We'll do this one first, and then we'll mock up to make it match this one. So, and then we're going to use these bottom 2 for the bottom 2 feathers, and then they'll have that angle. So let me cut these out, and then I'll bring you guys right back. All right, as we continue along the journey, friends, got these, and they're going to have a little bit of dimension to them, so we're just going to kind of mock these with a little bit of a bend up, just like that. These are going to be about like this, and then we're going to have these guys, another set of feathers on both sides of these, about like this. About like that. These will be underlapped, so it's not too crucial that the tops are perfect. Cut those out. Bring it back. Okay, hombres, this is what I got, man. I got 2 feathers down here, 2 up here. This might need to be filed in a little bit just so that this hugs a little better. I think it's gonna work. So I will put some veins on these bad boys. I'll shape them just like I'll file and shape just enough till I feel comfortable with it. And then I'll flatten them back out, put veins on them. Okay, friends, so I don't make this video too long. Watch episode 13 if you want to see me making the feathers. These feathers are one-sided, and so I'll make these feathers and get right back. I think it's our most popular video in the history of Juanitosville is the feather making video. Okay, does that look cool-ish? You guys see what I'm saying? It's going to be something like that. So we're going to go to the backs of these and lace some solder on the edges for sure, because we know that's where it's going to be in contact with here. Where it's up is going to be space, so not on the insides of the feathers, but on the outsides. So let's go over there, and then we'll keep this party moving. Cheek juice drinking hunchbacks. We're going to give it the old Chad Parker. Then we're going to go medium solder. Alrighty, friends, this is where we are. I'm going to do 2 at a time. I'm going to start with these bottom 2. I got them situated just like I like them. I dropped some flux back there. And we're just going to hit this. Gotta be. These just where I want them. And bent them with my flat nose pliers just to get the bends just right so they're making contact. And I'm leaving these. I'm gonna fold those and get those to be something. We got flux on the underside of that, because the last thing I want to do is just flux the top, and then if the solder doesn't want to act right, and then I throw a temper tantrum in my own mind. Looking at it from the bird's eye view, I think we're looking good. All right, friends, let's blast it and see what we do. See what it do. Get everything slowly up to temperature. It's gonna take a few, and I'm okay with that. Be very patient with this process, guys. This is the end. This is towards the end. I'm gonna make the hole for the hook, and then we're gonna make a bail that speaks to the whole piece. Not everybody are feather people. I've discovered that some people don't like feathers. I don't know how you cannot, personally, but let's focus on this side first. Okay, now we're going to up the heat a little bit. I'm looking for any indication of solder run. Let's give it a little nudge. Feels stuck. So we're going to focus on this one now. Now it's not forever stuck. I'll show you the technique I'm going to do once we get this kind of going. This is this multi-stage process here. Okay, now I'm going to see if that's stuck. Try to nudge it, and it doesn't want to nudge, so that's good. And I'm going to let this air cool because I don't want to get any contaminants in there that might not already be in there. Let's just look at this real quick since I have your attention. See how that's up? I want to squeeze that down, and then I'll heat it again, and we'll get some solder to really seal that. Another option right here, friends, is not on here, but I'll go here and boom, 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 and just. I still want to maintain the volume, but I want to make sure that the down parts are down. Okay, friends, for the final operation here on this part is I'm probably going to put the solder I had at the ends, and I didn't put it on the inside, and I didn't think that I was going to need it, but I did. So that's not well, that one is. This one is not connected right here. So we're going to ensure, we're going to drop some solder in there, right there. We'll probably put some in here. Boop. And then on this side, I think it's pretty good, but we probably will put some right under here. But that's these are the little kind of final touches that you want to do, and really I think that'll work the way it is. Well, not right there, because that needs to be put together, but it could be good enough. But we want this to be a forever piece, so we're going to do whatever it takes to make it a forever piece. And I'm going to use my Genius wire on this part, so I can really get under there, and I can kind of put my flame a little bit under. And that's what I'm going to do. Dude, I didn't even record that. I put solder under there, pinched it here, solder there, pinched it. This part popped up, so I put a piece of solder under there, and then when it was like this, then I kind of heated it, and then pinched it, then let go, and then we got a nice seal. So I think we got to seal all the places what we wanted to get a seal. Maybe not right there. Let's look. See, that kind of comes up a little bit. I want to fix that. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to put some flux. I'm going to feed a piece of solder in there, and then I'm going to pinch it and then heat it. I can operationalize this. Okay, it's in there, it's tucked in there. Now I'm going to get my block. I'm going to so that solder is right there, and then I'm going to just heat it and then pinch it. So we're going to do this one last piece of operation. Here we go. I know this is a lot, guys. You just bear with me. Hang with me. Hang with me. Don't be faint of hearted, friends. We believe. We believe. Oh, that's going to be nice. If I can get that solder to run just like I want it. Let's go bigger heat. We got lots of mass here. We got that. We got that. I'm just going to look right here and double check. Yeah, we got that. We got that. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and acid this. I feel really confident. We'll see how confident I am, but I feel really confident about it. I'm going to acid this, and then we'll bring you back. All right, guys. I wish I would have showed you, but I heated it up, and I just got my tweezers right here, and I moved it a little bit this way. I just scooted it without trying to. I didn't want to break the stem, because if I broke it, I'd have to take the whole feather off, and it would have ruined my day. But I just heated it, and then I got a lot of the stem, and I just pulled it. And you can see where I pulled it so to make it more symmetrical with this one, because it was a little bit out and big, and there was some gap. So I got it situated the way I wanted. I'm going to chop this off, but now I'm going to put some solder under here and get these stems to sit down. I know it's a lot. You just bear with me, friends. Okay, we want all those solders to drop right in there. So at this point, guys, we're going to go heavier heat, and we're going to bring it up to the back. Bring it up from the back. Sitting down. Okay, those sat down. Now we're going to squeeze. Top a little bit, squeeze right there. It's underneath, squeeze right here. Squeeze that stem down. Got a stem to sit down. Let's look right here if we got this stem to sit down. We don't want it to sit up, guys, because it could snag. It could snag onto something down the road, and we don't want that. We want this to be a forever piece. Okay, I'm looking at it. Did I get that to sit down? Do I believe in it? believe I do. I do believe in it, and I believe I got it to sit down. So, okay. One step at a time, friends. One step at a time. Alrighty, Juanitosville. This is, so I used the body of a fork, of a spoon, pretty much this part. Just that part. I rolled it out, and I cut it right down the middle, and opened it. And one side I left kind of connected and the soldered on the back side. And I made this kind of bail for it. But this is it, guys. You guys saw how we did that. The bail is the only part I didn't really show, I don't think. I think I showed this part. A little bit of cleanup still, but I think this is pretty good. I went through with my Sharpie and just made a Sharpie line. And then I cut so it's nice and uniform. And the stone is going to fit right in there, guys. Yeah, dudes. So that's pretty much it, friends. I hope you guys enjoyed that adventure. The double feathers, and then I cut the end off. There was a little piece right there. I cut it off, and I kind of trimmed. Just tried to get it in as good as I could. But I think once I put some liver of sulfur to really accentuate these textures in here, you can see I have some body in there. Those feathers are not sitting flat. They're kind of up like I wanted them to be. And it's good, guys. So this is pretty much it, friends. Oh, thank you so much for joining the adventure. Hit subscribe on the way out. I hope this had value to you. If it did, come back and hang out with us again. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is what we do, these adventures, and I hope that you guys pick up some tips and tricks and some skills along the way. A lot of this is skill building, and we're just getting better, guys. We're getting better. We're using our creativity. We're trusting ourselves. And we're leaning toward moving forward. Always hanging on. Like a hubcap in the fast lane, friends. You know how it is. Loyal to the soil till it's hot enough to boil. You know who it is. You know what it is. Oh, by the way, friends, please go to Instagram and find me on Instagram. Boom Jewelry Designs. I'll put it on the screen right there. Find me on Instagram, add me up, I'll add you back. We'll be inspired by each other, see each other's work, and keep it groovy like a drive-in movie. You know who it is, you know what it is. It's Benny. I'm out. Peace.